everyone. In this video, we will express a difference of squares in factored form. Factor 4m squared minus 25n squared. The first thing we want to do when we're looking at one of these, if I have a binomial and I have a subtraction between them, I first look to see if it follows a difference of squares pattern. That means, do I have a perfect square subtracting a perfect square? So the first thing to check is to see if I can square root both of those. So we're going to square root the first one. So we have 4m squared. The square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of m squared is m. Now let's try the second one, 25n squared. The square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of n squared is n. That means this does follow the pattern of a difference of squares. And that means that I can then follow the factored form, which is the square root minus the square root and the square root plus the square root. So we'll take the first one, and it goes in the first position of each binomial, 2m and 2m. And the second square root goes into the second position of each binomial, 5n and 5n. And then the sign in between them, we have one subtract and one add. And the order doesn't matter. We can do an addition and the subtraction second. And we can always check that by foiling those together. So I would do the first times the first, which gives me 4m squared. The outside times the outside gives me positive 10mn. And the inside, which is subtract 10mn. And the last, which gives us minus 25n squared. Now when we combine our like terms, we'll notice one's positive and one's negative, so they cancel out and we're left with a square, subtract a square, which is a difference of squares and matches our original, which means that this right here is the correctly factored form of our difference of squares, and we're all done.